Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today playing Esper Viper. Kind of a mashup between the old black-white, like Obsessive Pursuit, Rottenmouth Viper lists, plus the sort of classic Azorius, like, tempo creature lists. The idea here being Novice Inspector is kind of classically the best combo with Rottenmouth Viper, I think, in my opinion. Just a solid one drop that enters, makes another permanent to sacrifice. Well, we get access to Spyglass Siren now as well. And with Springleaf Drum in the list, that actually creates the possibility for a turn 2 Rottenmouth Viper. Now, whether or not that's any good, I don't know, but like a turn 2 6/6, you kind of have to sacrifice a lot of resources to make that happen. But in certain matchups, like Mono Green Landfall, if you're on the play, I can imagine that being pretty effective. The other benefit to playing Viper right now is that it's an elemental, meaning it doesn't get bounced by Sunderflock. So your big thing that you're investing into won't like really hurt you on the back end if you're playing against elementals or any of the elemental variants or what have you. Otherwise, it's kind of a straightforward creature list. We get access to Warden of the Inner Sky, which I think is kind of a cool combination with Obsessive Pursuit as well. Obsessive Pursuit, a card that's kind of hard to enable. You need like either a lot of sacrifice outlets or just things to do with the permanents that you're creating. And I think Warden of Inner Sky is an interesting way to like make use of the clues that you have without making it harder to like eventually cast a Rottenmouth Viper off of those clues. So I might play 4 if I had them. I have 2. I'm gonna be happy testing 2 for now. Couple Mockingbirds, place at a Voice of Victories helps smooth out the Viper casts, and we have like a full set of a bunch of 3-ofs here. 3 Halia, 3 Sage, 3 Suki, 3 Viper. The idea being we don't really want multiples of any of these in our hand, and if we sort of spread out that power or that we flatten it out into a bunch of 3-drops, it'll just reduce the incidence of being stuck with a bunch of Vipers in hand, or a bunch of Obsessive Pursuits for that matter. Not really a card you want in multiples. 4 Deadly Precision as our main board removal of choice here. Just a pretty efficient spell. We're always going to have something to sacrifice to kill something off. 21 lands, 4 Springleaf Drum, mostly in white here in our mana base. That is pretty intentional. Just the idea being we have double white in Suki. A lot of white costs in our sideboard here as well, just to keep things on the even as far as our like access to mana goes. We get to almost freely put Multiversal Passage on white as needed, but then put it on the other colors if need be as well. Yeah, Seam Rips, Rest in Peace, Sheltered by Ghosts, Get Lost, Requisition Raid. Not much to say here, just sort of a wide variety of answers to other decks out in the format. All right, let's run it today. I'm excited to test this one out. I was playing it this morning, and it does some pretty powerful stuff. Curious to see how it holds up on the ranked ladder. All right, match 1 on the play. Ooh, it's pretty close, actually. Just having the Springleaf Drum and maps off the Sirens. I'm going to keep it. It's a little risky, especially being on just Island as our first land here. But we get our colors off of Springleaf Drum, which sort of smooths things out. Leah. Let's go for the drum. Let's just start cracking maps here. Actually, it looks like they might be holding up. Maybe a Spell Snare, based on how just doing a little arena reading here. Kind of feels like what they have is Spell Snare. Because the Springleaf Drum resolved so quickly. So let's just go ahead and crack the map here. Skip on a Deadly Precision. 1 lander. See how she goes. Flame Braider. Okay. Well, we get to go Aaliyah into a Siren here, which is not so bad. Might help us draw into a land. 21 lands in the deck, so not horribly unlikely. Although we're passing the window where Starting Town is going to be a good hit, unfortunately. It'll be fine, but not great. Opponent untapping with 5 mana. Yeah, it looks like they're going to kill off my Springleaf Drum. That's a little rough. Getting a little punished for the 1-lander here. Still, we could have a chance. If we draw, like, a Godless Shrine here, Multiversal Passage, I was going to say we can maybe go I kind of think we have to kill off the Flame Braider here. It's just giving them too much mana. And then we get to get an Obsessive Pursuit online next turn. Although not putting this on white hurts quite a lot. Let's go for the map. And then plan to sacrifice this second Siren. Springleaf Drum. I don't think I'm going to pass on that. Swing for 4 in the air. Put this on black. Kill this off. Although the Wistfulness is going to be killing me pretty quickly anyway. Yeah, I think we're just a turn behind here. Shout out, by the way, to any new subscribers here watching today. One of my recent videos has had a pretty good amount of viewership as far as like my channel is concerned. I've been out at this for a few months now, and it's blowing up a bit, relatively speaking. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. Appreciate you hopping along. Glad you're taking an interest in what I'm doing here. And what I'm doing here, broadly speaking, the idea, the goals of the channel, post every day. Typically standard content. I would say it's like 99% at this point. I've had a few pioneer videos here and there, so if there's interest in that, let me know. And not really playing meta decks is kind of the idea. Let's say I'm like, call me an inspired Spike, because I'm a big aspiring Spike fan. That may come through in the kind of content I'm making here. And I really respect how he just doesn't, he stays in his lane of not staying in any lane at all. Every video is pretty different. He's always exploring new ideas, but not silly ideas, I guess I would say. And while occasionally I do trend into the silly zone, I think my main goals are to make decent decks, you know. I don't think I'm going to crack the meta every time, but like occasionally I do stumble into something that I think is pretty powerful. For example, those coming from the Jund Deserts video, I actually thought that deck was really cool and strong. And clearly I had some amount of success with it on the ranked ladder at the very least. Take that, however you will. So appreciate you hopping in. Not every the irony is not particularly lost on me that immediately following leaving up a blue mana, I still think they have a Spell Snare. The irony is not lost on me that immediately following my Jund Deserts video, I lost both matches in a row. Oh, bounce off. No. Sorry, not both matches in a row. I had 2 rough videos in a row. Namely that, like, the Boros Cloud video was okay. Oh, I think we went 1 and 2 overall, and it was a fun run. Yeah, I think I'm donezo. I'm pretty sure I'm donezo. Yeah, I'm just gonna scoop it up. It was a fun run, and then the green white like herd heirloom list. Nah, I'll admit that was a bit of an undercooked idea. But I just wanted to revisit the idea, mostly untouched, for the current meta, just to get a sense of what it would look like. And I had some suspicion going in that it probably wouldn't fare too particularly well, based on how things have changed with Lorwyn Eclipsed. But just wanted to see it for myself, and part of the concession of what I'm doing here is that posting every day, it's going to result in some, maybe not the best, strongest, most powerful lists you've ever seen. That's just the nature of exploring a lot of ideas and willing to try some new stuff out. So, anywho, that's yapping number 1. Let's go ahead and sideboard here. Playing against elementals, early interaction for their mana generators I think is pretty important. Get Lost is a good answer generally too, because it hits a wider variety of things. So I think let's go down a Pursuit, down a Sage here, bring in a couple Get Losts. I think maybe we just run it like that on the play. Seam Rip is also a pretty good option, but I think we can afford to go for a more generalized option on the play. Just try it like that. part 2 of this sort of yapping rant thing. I've had some interest in the past about streaming, and I think I'm just going to do it. I think I'm just going to kind of take the plunge here, and I'm going to say Friday, starting this Friday, testing it out. Do we lead on a Springleaf Drum here, or do we hold? I think we lead. Testing it out, because we can go turn 2 voice and then turn 3 Halia into Sage. Kind of do the classic thing that is popping up in Standard a bit. Steam Vents, well, I'm not going to play around Spell Snare here. I'm just going to rip. Not much I can do. So, this Friday, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live. I'll just do it here on the YouTube channel. Some of you may know that I do have a Twitch channel that is linked in my YouTube description, like channel description, but I think it just kind of makes sense to do it here, just to sort of keep everything in one place. I've not streamed on YouTube ever. I've streamed on Twitch a little in the past. So if you're interested in that, mark your calendars. Friday, 2 to 5, and then if it goes well, if people are there and people are interested, I'll run it back, and we'll do the next Friday, and we'll just keep going for as long as that makes sense. So, all of that out of the way, let's get into this match here. It's looking pretty good so far. I love this like Sage of the Skies idea in Standard right now. Just flyers are just kind of good in general, and I like the way it interacts with Halia, being able to like gain life. The problem right now is if they have Sunderflock, we're kind of fucked. So let's go Warp a Halia, Obsessive Pursuit, gain a life off of the clue here. Try to spread our resources out a little bit so that we can like play some stuff now and not get supremely ranched by Sunderflock, even though it's going to hurt quite a lot. Vibrance. Okay. I'm okay with that. Dodge a Sunderflock. They would have cast it if they had it, so them not having it's pretty good for us here. No blocks. Ooh, Deadly Precision. Okay. That's a nice draw. So we could just go like Deadly Precision on the Vibrance. It probably makes more sense to just play a Halia, though. Let's put this on black this time around. Cast a Halia. Deadly Precision, sack a clue here. Just a nice little 1 mana sort of filler as far as removal goes. Really punches up, right? Gives us access to a cheaper way to sacrifice things for Obsessive Pursuit. Put a 1/1 counter on the Sage. Help it dodge future Vibrances. A card I have been loving lately, by the way, Vibrance. You expect to see a lot more Vibrance in the future, because I finally have my playset on Arena, and it kind of goes in every Gruul deck, right? I mean, kind of goes in every Gruul deck, I think. No blocks here. Trigger the Obsessive Pursuit. Gain a life off of Halia here. I'm almost like I'm a little bit away from copying a Wistfulness or Deceit with Mockingbird, which is kind of interesting. I think this turn I have to like sack 2 clues maybe. I don't think it super matters how we tap as long as we leave up a starting tone. Oh, there's a Suki. Sack a clue. Yeah, maybe we just sack 2 clues and give up the Halia here. Alternatively, we could... Alternatively, we could just get another voice online and then maybe plan to like go really wide next turn. Yeah, missing a land drop here I think is hurting us a little bit. I guess let's give up the Halia here. We'll gain a little life being able to swing with everything. Play our Spyglass Siren first for a little extra life. But I kind of think they have to block the Halia, right? They could just block the voice, but I think I'm okay taking this trade here. We continue to be like in a decent position into a Thunderflock, actually, right now. Just by padding our life total over and over. Burst Lightning on a Siren. That's fine. Beza. Okay. At least they don't get the tokens. They don't get the draw. There's a Viper. Suki, another nice pair with the sacrifice idea in general here, too. Obviously, really nice with Voice of Victory. Good with just like a bunch of little guys that make permanents to sacrifice in general, but pretty well enabled here in this list, I think. Maybe we go Suki. Can we go Suki, crack a map, and do anything particularly good? I could just like Mockingbird the Beza. That doesn't gain me any life, but it puts some dinguses on the field, which is kind of nice into this Suki, and might be good into... Actually, if I Mockingbird the Beza, I can also cast a Viper? Is that anything? And the Viper doesn't get bounced to... Yeah, this is actually kind of insane. This is a great turn. This turned into a great turn. Making a treasure too, just to be able to like keep all of my permanents, and now we're like really not weak to Thunderflock. And we get to swing with a big life linking Voice of Victory. Kind of a huge turn. Kind of the hugest turn you've ever seen. Flying Beza, 2 elementals on the field. A lot of resilience to a future Thunderflock. Okay, great. We found the line. They flip into a Thunderflock, but it's not that good. Double elementals. They're going to have to start giving up material here off this Rottenmouth Viper. And if I play the Suki, I can start swinging in with the Beza as well. I think I like that. Let's crack a clue here, too, to be able to put a counter on the Rottenmouth Viper. I guess I could put a counter on Beza. Not sure that it super matters. I think I'd rather the Rottenmouth Viper live, right? Wow, this turned into a sweet couple of turns here. They double block the Rottenmouth Viper. So I suppose we kill off the Thunderflock. And they're left with nothing, really. Hard to imagine a scenario where they can draw out of this. Maybe just another Thunderflock. But then I can force them to chump Beza. Interesting first match. The game one maybe didn't look the tightest, I suppose. But this is shaping up to be a real battle here. They do find the Sunderflock. Trigger our Obsessive Pursuit. Is there any way we can, like, gain life off of this Beza this turn? Maybe if we draw into another Viper. I think generally probably playing Suki first makes the most sense. Suki into Sack of the Clue. That way we have a couple blockers for their stuff. You know, if we go Suki into Sack the Clue, we'll make 2 blockers, but if they draw another Sunderflock, we just die. Is there any way we can play around that? Kind of feel like there's not really a way we can play around that. Just have to accept that as a possibility. I could, like, try to Sack the Clue first, and then just accept the 2 damage from the Flame Braider. But this is safer into them having Vibrance or something, I think. Do they have a counterspell? Or a Bounce Off, maybe? Bounce Off would probably kill me, too. Mockingbird. I considered Fabled Passages for this list. It's okay because you're in like 3 colors, right? Oh, they kill off the Beza. Okay. We'll see if they hit their 3rd Sunderflock, 4th Sunderflock. Fully cast a Winter Night Stories. They're just trying to go for the throat here. They hit the Sunderflock. They can cast it for 2 mana. Kill me. Looks like they do not. Huge. Get lost. Go for a Voice of Victory first, I suppose. Play around Spell Snare as their last card. Get lost the Wistfulness. All right, GG. Wow. So I considered Fabled Passage for the list. 3 colors, right? I feel like having untapped mana on the early turns is just too important here. But it is nice that it gives you another, like, free permanent to sacrifice for Obsessive Pursuit on turn 4 or whatever. Definitely a consideration. I mean, there are a lot of options for this kind of list. I liked how that was running. Let's bring in a couple Seam Rips just for extra answers into their early, like, mana generators. Maybe go down a Mockingbird or 2. Maybe a Mockingbird, maybe a Viper? No. Maybe a Suki. Try it like that. The wide boards, like, created by Suki aren't that good, and they have Sears in their list. I don't know. Doesn't seem the best necessarily. Okay, pretty decent hand. I think we can get a Viper out pretty quickly. If we draw either another Spyglass Siren or the one of Mockingbird or Novice Inspector, we can go turn 2 Viper, which is kind of neat. I'm going to lead on the Springleaf Drum here to play around Bounce Off, perhaps. I don't think they would bounce off a Spyglass Siren, but we also have access to Deadly Precision to kill their turn 2 Dork, which is pretty nice. Just another land. Let's play it out like this. And then we can play a Multiversal Passage tapped to save a little life. Could use some action here. Ashling Rekindled. Okay. Well, we get to play the Viper here at the very least. We'll see if it's any good. Pretty fast. Turn 3. We don't have anything to follow it up with, though, unfortunately. Drawing into land on land on land. Not really what this list wants to see. Roaming Throne. Okay. I mean, if we hit a Mockingbird here and we can copy the Roaming Throne, double our elemental triggers, that'd be kind of fun. Guess we just start swinging. I had a game in testing where I got to copy a Roaming Throne with Mockingbird on human to double trigger a Voice of Victory. with a Suki on the board for like perfect lethal. This can go on blue. I don't think it super matters. Plains and Swamp in hand. Well, see if they hit anything good. I mean, the Rottenmouth Viper is kind of giving them a bit of pause. They decided to chunk themselves. They're at 6. Flip Ashling. Get to see some more cards here. Trying to dig for a bounce off, probably. We're at the point where we can just kind of cast the Viper. Natty. Wistfulness. Blocks our Viper. But they do have to give up some stuff in the meantime. Best draw for us right now, probably just removal for the Wistfulness. Yeah, seeing a lot of cards. That's going to make things tough for us. Vibrance. Doubled up, killing off the Rottenmouth Viper. Yeah, really nice turn from our opponent. Got to string a whole lot of like powerful things together. They're at 5. Hard to imagine a world where we kill them here, especially after drawing another land. And we gave it our best shot. Can't be too upset about that. 1 and 2 against Elementals. 0 and 1 overall. Head into the next match here. Match 2 on the play. Ooh, 1 lander. Ooh, all right. Not great, but at least it's got mana and some cheap stuff. I don't know. We're like 1 card away from this being pretty good. Just lead on a starting town here. Let's go for the Siren. Blind, I think. Getting some early damage in could be relevant, being this resource light. Sanctum Elves. Okay. Another Siren. Maybe not the worst draw, actually. Another land. Start hitting ya. I've been brewing around Viper on this channel for a decent, as short-lived as the channel has been. I've made maybe like 5 or 6 Viper videos. I'm not sure on the exact count. I don't know why. I like the card. I don't know if I believe in it that strongly. I've had some minor success with it in past lists. I think maybe the best list I ever made was like the mono black $30 budget Viper list or $40 budget Viper list. Like in terms of like power for your dollar, that was definitely maybe my best list. Just very sleek, turbo sacrifice sort of plays. Any other iteration, I don't know. It's as far as like what you could be doing in standard outside of having budget restrictions, right? It just doesn't always line up, and it for how much you have to invest into it, sometimes it just feels like it's not particularly worth it. Bring in Seam Rips. Bring in Get Losts. Let's go down. Speaking of a matchup that's not particularly worth having the Viper, I think. Generally, the Viper falls short here. I think this will be more a matchup of like getting a Sage of the Skies on the field early, and then just removing all their stuff. Obsessive Pursuit could be good. Maybe we'll go with 2. Go down a Drum, maybe. Now that our curve is not so high. Warden seems okay. The voices are going to be maybe not so good here. Cut a couple of those. Just go for like a sleek sort of tempo build now. Yeah, try it like that. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. Double Get Lost could see me through this. We get an Obsessive Pursuit online early. No Vipers to pay it off, but we can still pay it off with like a Warden or what have you. Land more Elves. Godless Shrine's a pretty good draw here. Get our Pursuit online. We're a little far away from Sage of the Skies, but we can go Suki next turn and just start, like, holding up Get Lost and making clues. Or maybe we just have to Get Lost the Badgermole Cub here. Yeah, I mean, with a Weaver on the field as well, we just have to Get Lost the Cub. Well, Seam Rip's a great draw, actually. So let's Seam Rip the Cub. And then we can Get Lost an Ouroborite if that's what they draw. Otherwise, we can crack a clue. Pretty good position. You got another Cub there. Elliot. They always have the second Cub. Mockingbird. Kind of makes me think that they have like a Quantum Riddler in hand here. They're just trying to get some cards out to be able to like cast a Riddler and double draw. Leyline Weaver. Okay, maybe their last card is Craterhoof Behemoth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I'm too worried here. Maybe they're just going for like a legion of attackers to try to just rush me down here. Aaliyah. They can't Craterhoof Behemoth me, so let's go for the... I mean, Halia's like a really nice draw to set up this Sage of Skies. It kind of answers their board entirely, outside of them maybe having Ouroborite as their last card. So it's a little risky in that regard. But if their last card is Ouroborite, we get to kill it and then contest their like 3 power creatures with Suki. A little risky. Tapped Passage, Leyline Weaver. Okay. It paid off. It paid off. So now we get to hold up. We get to hold up Get Lost forever. Let's just crack a clue here, I think. Or maybe we go Siren Map. Play a Siren. Yeah, crack a clue. Springleaf Drum. If we crack another clue, we can start swinging in and trade with 2 Weavers. That's probably worth it. At this point, we can survive Ouroborite, I think. Let's do that. Maybe a little risky. Let's swing with the token here in case they like draw Bounce Off. I think it's a little better for the future. Big draw for them here. Land. Okay. Turns out it's a little draw for them. Well, now we get to just kind of like hold up removal and continue to swing. I'm finally wising up. It's time to hold up removal. Sack a couple things. Swing with 2 big guys. Lifelinking. Hold up some removal. And even if their last card is Craterhoof now, I kind of think... might as well... No, let's wait on the drum. I kind of think we're okay. They can cast it and swing with a bunch of Leyline Weavers, I guess. Which is kind of scary. So maybe I'm dead to that. Maybe I'm like super dead to that. And I should just count my lucky stars that they drew nothing but lands. Run it back. Do we want Shelter by Ghosts? Probably not. I don't know. It's more removal. It kind of helps with the big Warden of the Inner Sky plan. But as far as how the match really will play out, it's like, does my life total even really matter most of the time? Probably not. We have a high enough creature count to support it, though. We could, like, cut the voices and play the Shelter by Ghosts. That might just be better. Just more removal. Maybe easier for us to put the game in a position where, like, we are actually just outgaining, like, a small Craterhoof Behemoth. Could be relevant. Yeah, it's okay. Not great. Not perfect. The mana's okay. We have answers to Cubs. Lead on a starting town here. And then if we have to, we could kill 2 Cubs next turn. Doing that puts us a little far away from Sage of the Skies, but... Cub, Leyline Weaver, get lost. Well, we're definitely killing a Cub. Not much to think about there. I think I'm just gonna like play a tapped passage here and pass. If they go Cub number 2 next turn, 1, 2, they can also play an Ouroboros. There's not much I can do about that. Play this tapped on black here. Saves a little life long term, maybe. Gene Pollinator. My friend Gene. My good buddy Riddler. Yuck. Draws a couple cards. Pretty big board. Gonna be hard to answer, I think. I mean, this is what? Their turn 3? Like, this is just standard now, I guess. Turn 3. Nearly up on cards with the Riddler in the warp zone here. Huge board. I don't have any great answers to this kind of board. Okay, Halia's like a pretty good draw, actually. I think we can maybe afford to take a turn off and play a Suki. That way, next turn we can go Warp Halia, Sage of the Skies. Outside of them like if they have the Cub, there's nothing I can do about that. You know what I mean? They have the Cub, they Quantum Riddler, and then play their whole deck or whatever. So I think it makes sense to go for Suki, and then we can start swinging in. I could hold up Get Lost, but they're just gonna like kill me. You know what I mean? I need to put some stuff on the board. Ouroboros. Yeah. Not great. Big play draw difference here, I think. Okie dokie. Well, maybe we go Deadly Precision on the Ouroboros and then cast a Sage of the Skies. And then next turn we can Get Lost the Quantum Riddler. And that way we can kind of block their wide stuff. We're not taking too much damage there. Yeah. I kind of feel like that's all we got here. Make a guy. I realize part of the power of like the newer mono white builds that are mono white or Boros builds that are utilizing Springleaf Drum are also relying on Momo as a way to consistently like play an early Sage of the Skies along with Starfield Shepherd. I know we're missing like parts of that synergy. Oh yeah, I'm dead. But generally, I think Sage of the Skies is kind of worth an include regardless. Or at least worth trying. 0-2. Put up some fights. Made it game 2 both or game 3 both matches. Let's keep it rolling here. Match 3. On the play. Okay. Pretty good opener, I think. We get to go turn 1 Warden, turn 2 Drum Obsessive Pursuit, or... I mean, we're definitely going turn 2 Obsessive Pursuit. I mean, this is a great hand. We have a lot of options here. Let's just lead on the Warden, I think. Okay, mono greens. They're not going to be disrupting our big Warden, which is nice. Put this on blue. I think that's okay. Let's just do the drum Obsessive Pursuit idea. Open up our mana the most here. And then next turn, I think we get to go like... We're kind of close to Halia into Suki. And then we'll trigger Suki at the end of turn. I guess we need to hit a land drop. Maybe I shouldn't have put this on blue if I have the Springleaf Drum already. And I like have a bunch of white cards in hand. Turn 2 Cub. Classic. Name a more iconic duo. Current Standard and turn 2 Badgermole Cub. Let's go... I'm kind of thinking like Halia, play a drum, gain some life. Can we do that? Halia, drum, drum. It's not that good later though. We'll draw a card. We'll get these drums out of our hand. I don't have a way to trigger Suki this turn. Could just cast a Halia. I could scry first. Consider my options there. Multiversal Passage on top. I think that's pretty good. So let's go Halia. Drum. Drum. A lot of drums. Lot of drums. At the very least, we might not be able to get mana off of all of them, but we'll be able to feed the Warden of the Inner Sky and start presenting a pretty big threat. Eventually a life-linking threat once we have enough mana to support it. We'll see if that's enough here. They are hitting me. Another Suki. Alright, well, let's start by scrying. Starting town, we'll skip on that. Kinda think I just have to cast this Suki. And then give my Warden Vigilance here. Novice Inspector is okay. We have a lot of clues to work with anyway. I think we need like either removal or like a Viper maybe to be able to like cash in all of these permanents and get a big hit. Being able to dig is pretty nice here. See if they have a big nasty combo turn. Sapling Nursery. It's big and nasty. But I don't think I'm dead quite yet. Mockingbird. Start by scrying. Sage of the Skies. I can't quite cast that and pay it off. It's like 2 mana to sacrifice a clue to draw it, and then drum, drum. Yeah. Skip on that. Feel like I really need to start gaining life somehow. Let's sack a clue. Make another one. Make another guy to be able to like make use of our Springleaf Drums here. There's our Viper. Perfect. There's our Viper. Okay. So let's make use of these drums before we sacrifice them. Can we also cast... anything else. We could cast like a Mockingbird for 2, make a Badgermole Cub. Let's leave back Suki as a blocker, I suppose. Let's just go ham here. Sacrifice a whole bunch of stuff. Arena timer kind of getting me a little here. I think I probably could have played this turn a bit more optimally, but at the very least we get to swing with a huge Sage of the Skies with lifelink. We don't have a clear path to be able to continue doing that. Maybe I should have left behind a Springleaf Drum. But we're also going to be swinging with the Viper. Not super good in this matchup, probably. But might give them some pause. Up to a cool 23. I mean, the deck is doing cool things. Like, it is weird to be in a place where you are playing a deck that has a 14/14 Vigilance Lifelinker, right? And against a deck that doesn't have any real answers to it, like as far as removing it goes. And yet, they'll probably just be able to chump it every turn and eventually kill me. is kind of where I'm at. Let's go for a Halia here. And then we can eventually start drawing more cards once we're like... this will open up a lot of future options, I think. I don't think we get to swing with the Snake now, but we do get to swing with the Warden, because they can make two more Tree Folk. Oh no, a million more. I didn't realize they had a second Sapling Nursery. Yeah, they get to make a million more Tree Folk. Okay. Well, I probably can't lose. I probably can't win this then. Yeah, I probably can't win this. Ah, rats. All right. Do we scoop it up? I can't imagine a scenario where they don't beat me here. If they get to block with everything and then give up a Sapling Nursery and just have like a board that I can't answer. Yeah, let's scoop it up. Damn. Standard is crazy right now. Standard is crazy right now. I firmly believe this. I think it's like one of the craziest standards we've had in a while. Even, I don't know, is like Vivi Cauldron was good, but I think Vivi Cauldron, in retrospect, got a lot of hate for having the sort of solitaire problem, like Eggs in Modern, or somewhat the problem that Lessons has right now, kind of. It's like they produce these non-deterministic boards that you kind of have to sit through, that you can't just scoop to. Yes, they made a lot of mana. They did it pretty quickly and consistently, but it was hateable. I don't know. Is Sapling Nursery hateable? Like, you can counter it, yes, but like you can make that argument for literally any card. Once it's on the field, it's very hard to beat, I think. I'm not sure if other people have had similar experiences. Maybe Sunderflock is just the reason, like that's part of the reason people are on Sunderflock, is because Elementals is good into mono green, and that might be true. But I'd be curious to know the data on win rates. I know there was that somewhat recent RC like Milwaukee where mono green Landfall was having a pretty good run. It was played by a lot of people, and I think it came into about a 55% win rate, which is pretty high for a deck that is played by like nearly the majority of the field, it seemed. And not play rates like Vivi Cauldron play rates, right? I'll concede that, but the consistency and the ability to like attack on a lot of different angles, I just think it's very strong. I'm not calling for bans or anything like that. It's hard to come up with decks that answer it outside of like Elementals, or you just race it, right? But Decks that are like aren't making the cut in the meta right now. Brews, right? It's hard to come up with proactive game plans that beat what they're doing. Cut the voice of victories. Run it like that. Yapping through my sideboard time. My bad, y'all. I think that's fine, though. Bring in the Get Lost. Let's cut the voices. Try to get them with a quick Viper here. See if that's enough. Mulligan that. Okay. Pretty good hand. Very similar to the last start we had. I like this, though. I like that we have some removal. We can do pretty much everything we need to do with just a Warden and an Obsessive Pursuit, I think. We can skip on the Siren here. Try it like this. See what kind of hand our opponent has. Llanowar Elves. Sage of the Skies, okay. Hit him for 1. Get the pursuit going. Let's think about maybe trying to hold on to the Deadly Precision and use the Get Lost first to maybe think about a turn where we get to go Deadly Precision Sage of the Skies. We have to kill the Cub. There's a Watery Grave. Let's start scrying here. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Like, guarantee that precision into Sage next turn. And then we can start making use of Obsessive Pursuit to grow our Sage guys, our Sages, without having to worry about sacrificing enough permanents to get lifelink because they naturally have lifelink. Another Cub. Ice Till. No fetch quite yet. But we do have to deal with it, I think. Map onto the Cub. A lot of mana either way. So let's go Shock in a Hollowed Fountain. Tap these clues. Get our scry going. Skip on that. Deadly Precision. Kill the Ice Till here. Into a Sage. I think we get to swing for 4. I think we're allowed to do that. No Vigilance quite yet, but we're getting pretty close. They still have 4 cards in hand. I mean, one of them's a forest, but they kind of like that, you know? 1,000,000 mana. We've used all of our resources. Do we have much to show for it? It's a decent board, but once again, like if they just do a Sapling Nursery thing, there's just no coming back. Just not currently fast enough. Even though the idea is like maybe we just turn 2 Viper. Like it's funny that like a turn 2 6/6 is just not enough. They just get infinite chumps with Badgermole Cub. Crazy boards. Harmonizer on the field. Okay. Let's go for a scry. Gotta find removal for the Harmonizer here, I think. Sack a clue. Sack a clue. Try to hit a Deadly Precision here. Or maybe I should have left up white. Mockingbird. Mockingbird gives us another blocker. Hit you like this. Counters on the Sage of the Sky. Just hope they don't have a fetch. Does another blocker really matter? Probably not. No, probably not. It's in the hands of their top deck now. They don't have Trample. They have another Harmonizer. They have a Forest. They have to hit a fetch mill here. Well, otherwise, I think they die. They don't mill a fetch. Huge Harmonizer, but no Trample. Dead to my flyers. Okay. Fortunate for us. I mean, I don't know why they're swinging. Why are they coming at me with such disrespect? Get to see game 3. Once again, we get to see game 3, but I kind of... Have we been on the play for all 3 matches and we're just not able to, like, capitalize game 1? What's that about? What is that about? Do we want Sheltered by Ghosts? Now that I'm actually, like, kind of thinking about things here. Meh. Run it back. I don't think I want Rest in Peace here, by the way. I've gotten one comment. One person in the past has asked me, why don't you bring Rest in Peace in against Icehill Explorer decks? And I would if it seemed like they had Esper Origins in their list. A lot of these mono green landfall decks just don't. They just have Icehill, which is kind of part of the power of Icehill, right? It's like generically pretty good. If you don't force the rest of the list to be graveyard centric and you just have Icehill, it's like, well, I'm less inclined to bring Rest in Peace in, even though it would shut down your Icehills, because it just shuts down your Icehills, right? This hand sucks. All right, pretty good. I like the drum. We can do the, like, turn 3 Sage of the Skies thing here. Drum into... No, Halia, tap it, play the Sage of the Skies. Yeah, I kind of think that's the only thing we can kind of hope for. Maybe we should have kept the Siren in that case. I don't know. I think this is okay. So, them not being super invested, them not being on Esper Origins, them not being on Sandmans necessarily, they might have one in the sideboard or whatever, really enhances the effectiveness of ooh, this is not turning out great. I can get a redraw off of Halia, but I think I'd rather just cross my fingers for a land drop next turn. It's the beauty of the way the deck is constructed, right? It's the same reason Sapling Nursery is such an effective payoff. The same reason Earthbender Ascension is such an effective payoff. They're a creature deck, but they're not on all creature cards, so just removal is not that good into them. Novice Inspector is not a bad draw. They're a landfall deck, an Icehill deck, but they're not that graveyard heavy, so, like, Graveyard Hate is not that good into them. Origin of Metal Bending, no. I think Earthbending, the more I play against it in general, is kind of a fucked up mechanic. I'm happy green is getting its time in the sun. But it's kind of fucked up. Like, the way you're able to break it with fetches and whatnot. I mean, what more can be said about Badgermole Cub? There's the green shell. But I've said it before. I mean, the biggest strength of this list right now is just its inevitability. Okay. Maybe we just play a Halia here, and then next turn if we hit a land, we get to go Warden Sage. I'm just so not in this game. I don't have any tools to fight back against what they're doing right now. Turn 4 Halia. Pass it back to you. Don't murder me. It's tough out here, man. It's tough out here trying to break the mold a little. I think that's part of the reason the Jund list, the Jund Deserts list, had success as far as like a viable ladder list goes, right? It had the potential to make strong boards, but just the reach was very good, I think, being on a million burn spells, vibrance, hasty Nova Hellkites, meaning we can like play into this deck and actually have it, maybe not the best shot at winning against them, but maybe not the best shot at winning against them, but a chance, right? Like we're not 100% reliant on just creating a strong board like this list is, you know? Because we're never gonna really be able to fight them on board outside of maybe getting a fast Viper and them stumbling. Archdruid's Charm to fight my Halia. Rude. Little Sage action. I'm probably fine to hold up one blocker here. Get a little Scry. Maybe this is greedy, but Novice Inspector, I think we can pass on that. We can just go Halia Sage next turn. At the very least, we can block a Cub. We're pretty dunzo though. Sapling Nursery, yeah. We have no recourse. We have no recourse. We simply have no recourse. I'm gonna play 2 more matches. I wanna keep seeing it, you know. I'm feeling pretty confident that this just isn't it. I think the synergies are decent, but once again, I think it's a problem of the meta in general. With in my opinion, mono green at the very least on the MTGA ranked ladder being the big hoss of the format. These like these creature strategies, I don't know what you want to call this list, but these like somewhat loose synergistic strategies where your opponent just has the inevitability and you have to kill them quickly. If they're creature based, you're gonna get blocked, and that's kind of the end of it. Like even if you have flying, the fact that they can produce these big reach boards, like it's just not enough. Run it back. Match number 4. 0-3. Not the greatest record in the world. Hopefully it's a different matchup this time at the very least. We played against Elementals, Mono Green, and what else did we play against? Simic Ouroboros. Yeah, I mean, yeah, duh. I mean, these are not going to be good matchups. Generally, I think. Give me like mono red. Come on. Let me play against mono red. See how that goes. All right. Here's our opener. Opening 7. Probably not good enough. Double Suki. Oh, I did not mean to keep this. All right. Well, it's in Maro's hands now. Novice Inspector, I think, helps a little bit. Because at the very least, we get to produce a pretty decent board for the Warden here. Let's lead on a Springleaf Drum. A pretty decent board for the Warden to start growing. Okay, a different matchup at the very least, so that's fun. A nice variety of things going on. Let's see if we're any good against Lessons. Land is kind of huge here. Let's just put this one on white as well. Because we have the Springleaf Drum. Let's go Warden, Novice Inspector. Do we want to give up the Mockingbird? Mockingbird lets us maybe double spell for the Sage next turn. Let's just do this. Voice of Victory, generically pretty decent in this matchup, but I think I'd rather try to dig for a land here, given the rest of my hand. Mana open for my opponent. Well, we get to double spell here. So let's try to do that. See if they have a quench in hand. At the very least, we get to make one Sage. And then with this, if this resolves, we're going to be able to start getting like a pretty decent cushion of life to work with, which is kind of relevant against the lessons lists. Well, we get one. That's not bad. Then we can get Suki online next turn. Start swinging in. Combustion technique on a Warden here. They're digging. They're spending their resources, not getting anything out of it, really. Typically, this lessons list, I feel like, wants to be generating cards off of their, like, plays like this. I guess they could have a... They could have a, accumulate wisdom in hand. Just go for a Suki here. Let's crack this clue. I could hit him for 3, but I think I'd rather crack the clue now. Make an extra guy on the board here. Get a little redraw going. Deadly Precision. Probably not going to be super relevant. Kill a Gran. Combustion Technique. Spell Snare gone. Once again, I mean, they're pretty down on resources. We get to go for a Suki here and pay for a Quench if we have to. Let's just start swinging in. Okay, 1 card in hand. Discards a Quench. Let's play this Novice Inspector this turn. Just hit him for 2. Pass it back to you. I could go all in with the Mockingbird. Maybe that's better. Go for a Siren. Crack a map. Get a little peek at the top of our library here. Their spells cost 1 less. So they could just like rip and accumulate wisdom here and absolutely ranch me. I'm going to go for the Sage here. They've already cast 3 combustion techniques. They could have another one, but... Alright, let's get another Mockingbird going. Actually, I could just copy my Sage of the Skies. That might be more relevant long term. No, let's copy the Inspector here. We'll get another clue to sack, and then if they have Iroh's Demonstration, they can't absolutely ranch my board. Abandoned Attachments. Fine. They're going to hit eventually. 20 cards deep now. Did they find their Accumulate Wisdom? It feels like maybe no. I mean, if we find a Suki, we're looking okay. There's the Iroh's Demonstration. Not absolutely ranched by this. Just killing off 2 tokens. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just kill off my Sage, maybe, but... Oh, no. Oh, they leveled up the Artist Talent. I see. Oh, okay. Well, there's the Wisdom. Oh, no. My House of Cards. It's crumbling. Starting town. Obsessive Pursuit. All right, a little longevity, but if they get a monument going here, it's hard to imagine a scenario. Another Accumulate Wisdom. I mean, they're kind of due, right? They've had pretty poor draws up until this point. Hard to imagine a scenario where I'm able to come back from this. Gran, monument. Infinite card advantage. The cheapest spells you've ever seen. Stock up. Yuck. Y'all think it's time to throw in the towel on this idea? Y'all think it's time to give up on the Viper in Standard? It might be. I feel like it's so weird how kind of bad it is. Like, it, once again, I think that it's a fine budget option for like F&M. Mono black, probably just the cleanest way to play it. But man, it just hurts. Like, I think my overall record with it is quite low. And anytime I just keep coming back to one of these ideas and I just want it to work so bad, I'm like, okay, this is the time. This is the time. Come in with good energy, positive vibes, and it's just not. It ain't it. We have a lot of good stuff for this matchup though. Let's cut the Vipers. They just get bounced. Let's cut the Obsessive Pursuits. They just get countered, maybe? We don't need all the deadly precisions here. Maybe we want one Obsessive Pursuit. I think this is pretty close to good. Go down a drum. Go up a Sheltered by Ghosts. The first one's probably okay. Try it like this. Oh, we could get under what they're doing, I think. On the play, if we have a pretty good opener and they stumble, I think we're looking okay. Rest in Peace is pretty big game here. Requisition Raid, pretty big game. I mean, this hand's like, if we had 2 lands, definitely keep. Okay. Let's try it like this. Lead on the drum here, because I really can't afford them countering it, and we get to go turn 2 Halia into Novice Inspector. There's a Rest in Peace. Maybe might as well play a Siren. Get a little map action going. Okay, well, we have pretty good tools for this matchup in hand. So that's nice. I'm just not that confident about the main deck plan in general. Artist's Talent. Okay. Well, let's just get the Rest in Peace going while we can. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's crack a map first. Nice. Pass it back to you. And then next turn we get to go Halia Novice Inspector, assuming they don't have any counter magic. Levels up the Artist's Talent. Maybe I take this window to just Requisition Raid them. I think that seems pretty good. Helps me dodge, helps me dodge Iroh's Demonstration on the Sirens too. Let's go for that. Produces some real annoying threats for them to actually have to clean up. Abandoned Attachments. Okay, I think we're going to get there this one. It feels like we have kind of the tempo. We kind of have a bit of a lock here. It's just a matter of... Ooh, Voice of Victory. It's just a matter of... Shock myself. I guess we get a voice online. I'm going to take the turn off to play a voice here. Spell Snare. Okay. Could go for the Halia. Yeah, I think this is my Halia window. Even though I want to Halia into Novice Inspector, I think it's probably better to just get it on the field. Hit for 2. We have the lock here. I mean, our sideboard tools are good for this matchup, right? It's just I'm not that confident in the overall construction of the main deck. I think there's a lot of good ideas going on, but perhaps too many ideas. Novice Inspector. Do I want to go for a map? Let's just swing first. Novice Inspector. Go for a map on the Inspector, I guess. If they want to kill it, they can kill it. And then plan to crack a clue. The other thing to consider too is we have gone to game 3 in all of our matches, which is not nothing, you know. They haven't been absolute trounces. I'm gonna hold on to the Inspector this turn. Helps us double spell if we draw Sage of the Skies. Helps us gain life off of Halia if we draw Halia. And we're kind of winning on board anyway. I don't think it really changes the clock. Shocks themselves. Now it would have changed the clock. Crack a clue. Passage. Seam rip. Hitcha. Shock on my sirens. Seer. Hitcha. Play an Inspector. Let's crack the clue now. I don't think it matters how we tap here. Okay. Stock up. Stock up pretty good. Alright, well, they're clearing up my board. And they're kind of ahead on cards now. Suki's not a bad draw. Go for a little Suki action. Try to hit you for 2. Seer. Okay. Their combination, their like removal package is pretty interesting. Not all in on the lessons idea. A lot of Seers from the sideboard. Iroh's Demonstration. Trying to dig with their Kala. Voice of Victory. Alright. Combustion Technique on the Novice Inspector. Oh. Voice of Victory. Might as well play this. There's not really much of a reason not to. They're digging. But what are they digging for? Just like a monument, maybe? Plays a land. Kind of surprised they didn't just hold on to that. Novice Inspector. That does change the clock. Okay. Well, we have a chance of getting there next turn. I should have cracked the clue before attacking. If I hit a Suki, they're not just dead, but it's much closer. Novice Inspector. Warden. I'm just gonna hold on to that. I think that's okay. Monument. Kela. And I'd say that's GG. That's a desperate man's monument. A desperate Dan's monument. Alright, well, we get to see game 3. Would love to take a match at the very least here. Ran pretty smoothly without the Vipers. Yeah, just run it back. Game 3. Match 4. On the draw. Opponent mulls to 6. I think I'm keeping this then. Not perfect, but not bad. Hit our land drops. Voice of Victory pretty solid here. Potential to copy it with Mockingbird. We don't have an answer for a turn 1 Gran. But we can block it with a Novice Inspector. Hold on to the drum for a little bit, I think. Just go turn 2 Voice. Gran doing her thing. The only way she knows how. 1 card at a time. Artist's Talent. Seam Rip. Enchanté. How about we go Seamrip the Artist Talent and then Mockingbird the Novice Inspector here. That way they have to like deal with one of these guys. And I can just kind of try to threaten to block Gran. Get the Artist Talent out of my life here. Could have also been my window to play Voice of Victory, but I think I'd rather force them to use removal on one of my Novice Inspectors first. Combustion Technique, a Flying Novice Inspector. Fair enough. Blockaroonie. Lessons Online. Do they have the follow-up? Let's go for a Seam Rip on Gran into Voice of Victory, playing around Quench as one of their last cards. Okay, that's a great sign for us. Kind of a huge sign for us. Hold on to the drum here. We have some clues to crack. Some clues to crack. Sage of the Skies, huge. Kind of really huge. I don't have to shock myself here, but I think I'd rather attack. Pretty tough board for them to deal with. One of the things we do lose out on for this style of deck by splashing into black, right, rather than being just 2 or monocolored. Abandoned Air Temple, which is pretty huge for this strategy of play, especially like a Sage of the Skies deck. Well, we got a match win. We got a match win. Sound the alarm. We got a match win. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's head into the final one. See if we can scrape out a 2-3, which is somewhat respectable. Match 5 on the play. Ooh. No blue. No blue. No blue. Okay. Drum. Warden. Obsessive Pursuit. Very cheap hand, which is nice. Let's just put back the Mockingbird. Lead on a drum here. Play around like turn 1 burn spell. Turn 1 removal. A nice variety of matches for this run at the very least. We kind of ran the full gamut. Go Warden. I could just try to contest in the air. No, let's go Warden into Obsessive Pursuit. Try to do our strong thing, I think. Yeah, a really nice spread of matches. Very, very fortunate for that. And a good pace of play. Always appreciate that from our opponents. I think I was maybe the slow player this time around. That's not usually the case. Deep Cavern Bat. Got to assume they take the Deadly Precision here. But they're going to have to answer our Warden eventually. Mockingbird. It could just Mockingbird the Deep Cavern Bat. Take them off of a Kaito next turn. That's probably pretty good. Tap like this. Ooh. Tap like this. Let's tap like this. Let's try tapping like this. Mockingbird, Deep Cavern Bat. See what you got. Get a little info. Shoot the Sheriff, Requiting Hex, Bitter Triumph. They are also a little stuck on lands. Take the Hex here. Play a Siren. Start tapping our shit. Sage of the Skies. Let's pass on that for now. Not the worst draw, really. A little expensive though. And you know, we're hellbent, so we can't like make full use of it. It would be good in the future though. It would be good in the future. Maybe it was worth keeping it, thinking about 2 turns from now. Map on the bat. Do they hit? They hit a land, which is probably good for us. Shoot the Sheriff on the Warden. Obsessive Pursuit, gonna go kind of crazy here. Map on our bat. Or maybe we just map on the Siren. kind of force them to deal with the Siren before they grab a Requiting Hex. I guess they get to, like, kill the bat and then kill my Siren kind of no matter what because of the Hex here. I might as well just go in on the bat. Skip on a Suki. Trying to hit a land here, I think. Nice. Play a land. Hit you for a cool 4. Nice little life swing for us there. They get to clean up my board, but decent little cushion for us. And they do still have this Deadly Precision nestled under a bat themselves. So if we hit another one, we're feeling pretty good. Let's go crack a clue into Novice Inspector into crack a clue. See what we draw here first, though. Springleaf Drum. They definitely have the, like, tempo advantage right now, but our life cushion, as well as, like, just being able to draw extra cards every turn, is going to be kind of a pain for them. They kind of need to, like, have Enduring Curiosity in hand here, I think. Okay, pretty good hit, actually. Could help us return, like, take back the tempo here. They do have another piece of removal. I guess let's make them remove the Novice Inspector first. Go for a Siren. And just start cracking clues. I think we can tap like that. That's probably okay. Aaliyah. Aaliyah's not that good this turn, but next turn. Continue to crack clues. They can just counter my... They can just counter my Obsessive Pursuit trigger here. And, like, block and kill my Inspector. So maybe I go for, like, a map first here. Or maybe I should have mapped on the Siren. I don't know. Kind of a tricky spot. Let's go for the map. Another land. Kind of a tricky spot, because they could really just, like, if I commit everything, they could just block with a Restless Reef and be like, okay. I think I'm just going to, like, shock myself. Let's force them to do something, I guess. If they want to fire up the Restless Reef here, I get to, like, kill the bat, kill the reef, and then they can't double spell next turn necessarily. Or possibly. Tidebinder. Counter the trigger. Eat my shorts and my Novice Inspector. But now I get to kill the Tidebinder, kill the bat, or kill the bat, kill the Tidebinder, and then I'm not absolutely ranched by an Enduring Curiosity next turn. Is kind of the end result of that. Kill the bat. Kill the bat. Give up some clues in the process, but just thinking about the potential of Enduring Curiosity here. Interesting game so far. Very back and forth. We're kind of in a decent position next turn if they don't draw anything good. Get to start fighting back on life total. Firing up the Restless Reef is a great sign for us. That's a really good sign for us. We're not going to have a whole lot of material to be able to, like, trigger the pursuit for lifelink, probably. But we'll be able to gain a bit of life back here at the very least. just with Halia. They don't necessarily have the mana to fire up the Reef and kill my Halia here. Play a drum. Let's sack a clue. Tapping the Siren here, I think. Okay, nice. Do we shock ourselves for this? Or do we just tap Halia? Probably just tap Halia. Keep our life total high. Great hit for us here. Tapped Hollowed Fountain. The extra mana could be relevant next turn. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. Very back and forth. Kind of exactly what we want to see. Fun match. Fun game. A lot to think about. We've drawn a lot of cards. We're like 10 cards deeper than them, which is funny that we're kind of at parity still. Is this Kaito? Kaito. Uh-oh, Kaito. We've lost quite a lot of life to our Obsessive Pursuit as well. We might be able to sack 3 permanents this turn, though, if we draw nicely. Don't love to see that. Okay, nice. Huge. Huge. Give up a Springleaf Drum here. We get to kill Kaito. And hold back a chump on the Restless Reef if we need to. I think this makes sense to me. Gain a little life back. Deal with Kaito. Keep a 4/4 Siren around that they have to deal with. Go tap to Starting Town. Real barn burner in the final hour. This is only game 1 still. Hell of a game. I mean, this is what Standard should be about, right? I feel like duking it out with resources, like, ooh, there's their Enduring Curiosity. Hitting so many land drops here. So many land drops. Crack a Clue. Sage of the Skies. Wow. I guess we just plan to chump the Inspector next turn. Or sorry, chump Cecil next turn with the Inspector and then try to double spell in the future. Kind of all we got. They're going to be able to flip their Cecil. They won't be able to draw a card this turn if we just chump. But we'll have 2 looks at a card to cast in the future. They flip the Cecil. Yeah, I mean, just kind of getting flooded, right? Half of our deck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Statistically a bit unlikely. Statistically a bit unlikely. Man, I thought this was our chance to win a game 1. Thought this was our chance. Wow, really unfortunate. Like, we're seeing so many extra cards, and half of them are just dead draws. Yeah, we're just dead to this. Damn. Damn. Damn, that sucks. I thought that was our chance. Moving to sideboards. Seam Rips. Seam Rips. Not a great Viper matchup. They have a lot of angles to shut it down. Flood Pit's Drowner, namely. I think the rest of our stuff is pretty decent. Just trade Seam Rips for... Maybe Get Lost is okay, too, just to be able to answer Kaito. Go down a Springleaf Drum. After cutting the Vipers, try it like that. 20 lands. 3 drums. Pretty flooded last time. Game 2. On the play. See if we can pull through the 2-3. Would be nice. Rank reset. So I am in plat right now, but it's all of the people that reset into plat, right? Decent hand. A little slow, but shouldn't be too bad on the play. Get a little value engine going. I'm gonna play around Spell Snare here. Just go for Siren. And then I'm gonna hold the map for Suki next turn, I think. So I can go Suki, crack the map, make a 2-1. Duress. Okay. Takes a Deadly Precision. Definitely has a Spell Snare in hand. Duress. Maybe not. Draw into a Deadly Precision. Shock ourselves. Okay, well this is a pretty good early board for us here. Make a 2-1. Draw another land. Not the worst spot to do that. Kind of got to draw something real next turn, though. X. That's fake. Pass it back to you. Well, we get to full mana cast a Deadly Precision if we want to. Pay the extra 4. Mockingbird. Mockingbird could be kind of good. Feels like they have an Enduring Curiosity here. Try to hit them with the ally. We get to Mockingbird their Enduring Curiosity and kill it. Kind of huge for us. Trigger the Suki. Get this out of our lives. Hold the Multiversal Passage, see if they bat me or duress me. Alright, not bad. Not bad. We got a little bit ahead of them early. Got to keep the tempo up, pressure up. They get the play for the final game. All comes down to this. Been an interesting run so far. Game 3 in all of our matches. There's something to be said about that, I think. We're putting up fights, right? And our sideboard plan seems to be pretty solid overall. It's just when we have our Viper hands, they tend to just fall short. And we've not seen the turn 2 Viper. And even if we did turn 2 Viper here, like I mean we cut them in this match, right? But I don't think it would be very good. This hand's great if we draw another land. I think I'll risk it. We have a lot of stuff we can do with 1 mana, and our land happens to be a starting town, which is pretty good. Go ahead and play a Siren. Try to contest them in the air. Draw planes, huge. Perfect draw. Or close. Bat. I think I'll just go for a Voice of Victory next turn if they don't take it. Takes away some of their options. Do they offer a trade? I think I take it if they want to offer a trade. Obsessive Pursuit. Go for the voice. Pass it back to you. What you got? Crack a map on the bat. Do you get your counter? You do get your counter. Wanchi Tong. Hits me for 2. Bloodpit's Drowner. I hardly know her. Get lost. Well, I guess let's start filling up the board. Opens up our options for the future. We can't... Yeah, we can tap the Inspector and all this stuff to activate the Warden here. Keep a land on top. A little bit of a painful land, but we'll take it. 3 cards left for our opponent. Flashes in Wanchitong for a redraw. Also a 3/3 flyer with Vigilance. A little annoying. Passage. I kind of feel like we have to kill the Wanchitong. I guess I can go kill the Deep Cavern Bat, kill the Wanchitong, and I'm feeling kind of okay. Yeah. Hurts myself a little bit. But it sets up for a pretty nice Suki attack next turn. They're going to get some maps to work with, which I don't love for them. Well, I don't love for me. But I think this makes the most sense. We'll give up the clue here. Let's just go for a scry. No, maybe we just want to hold back a couple blockers. Maybe that's more annoying for them. Just swing with these two. They're at a really comfortable life total. They scoop. They straight up scoop. Wow. I'm flabbergasted. I'm shocked. They were so in it. They had, like, unless their hand is all lands, but even then, what are I don't have the words. I don't know. I don't have the words. 2 and 3 overall, I guess. Pretty good run. Yeah, I don't know. Could be worse, right? But I don't know that we deserved that final win there. Overall, the list was cool. I actually was pretty impressed by the Warden Obsessive Pursuit combination, and I feel like generally it kind of makes sense with the rest of the deck anyway. Works pretty nice with Suki, gives us a lot of cheap card advantage, but also with our evasive guys in general, we actually have a good way to get the damage through off the pursuit. I think the main problem for me is how much just investment Viper takes. It's just so much investment, and it's a bad top deck on an empty it's kind of a bad top deck if you're not set up for it, right? There are just better things to be doing in standard generally, probably. I am still fascinated, or I think there's something to the fact that it's an elemental in a Sunderflock meta, and I'm kind of curious to know if there's an aggro elementals build that is somewhat being slept on, that's Scalding Viper and just a bunch of aggressive happen to be elementals cards that are decent otherwise, that you can actually put a bunch of things on the board and not die to Sunderflock, you know what I mean? Kind of an interesting idea here. The mana was a little rough sometimes for this deck. Wasn't too bad overall. We did flood a couple games. I think that's just maybe part of the problem of being on 4 Springleaf Drum and 21 lands, but if you're not on a bit of a generous split, you can also have the opposite problem of just I can't cast my 3-drops, I can't crack these clues effectively. So I think it's okay, this spread, because we have the Obsessive Pursuits too, and Novice Inspectors and Sirens. We have a lot to do with our mana. I don't know. Sideboard was pretty good. Let me know what you think. What do you think about this? Do you have any thoughts on the Viper in Standard right now? I'm going to put it on the shelf again for a little while, but surely it won't be the last you see of the Viper. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you stopping by. Once again, if you're interested in catching my inaugural stream, Friday Eastern, 2 p.m., 5 p.m., we'll do a 3-hour slot. I'll probably just fire up, my favorite deck at the moment. It might be Jund Deserts, and just maybe a deck or two, and play it on the ladder. Maybe I'll do a standard event, one of these traditional standard events. I've never really messed around with them, but I could save up my gold a little bit. Yeah, why not? Let's plan on that. Could be fun. I think I'll just start stockpiling my gold. Plan to do one of these on Friday. So if you're interested in that, catch me there. Appreciate you watching anyway. At the end of the day, 2-3, a little bit of a rough, some rough matches here and there, but pulled out some game wins anyway. Yeah. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.